What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today I am bringing you an update to Dragon Rulers. Now, I specifically made sure that this was not a Dragon Link focused version, and I specifically made sure it didn't involve the cash tirers. This particular version involves the Horus. Now, as I take you through the profile, I'll talk to you about the different options that you can sub out the Horus engine for, especially going back to the previous version of this deck where you could utilize the True Kings. You could also very easily utilize the Ryujis as well in this engine because they share the same attributes, and the Ryujis lock you into Sea Serpents, Worms, Dragons, and Dinos, so you can still utilize the Dragon Rulers themselves rather than needing to dive so deeply into the extra deck. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. I'll also show you a demo side deck at the end of the video as well, so you have an idea of what you might want to be putting together if you want to be taking this to either a local or higher environment. So we're going to dive headfirst into the Dragon Rulers themselves. So for all of the Dragon Rulers, even though they are now back at free, I honestly don't think you actually need to be playing them at free. You're still quite easily able to do a 2 and a 1. Which is absolutely fine, and sometimes if you did want to go to a free, you'd go for a 3 and a 2, so you'd play 2 of the babies and 3 of the big ones, but honestly I think it gets a little bit too bricky if you do something like that, and then you'd only really be doing that if you wanted to make a pure Dragon Ruler build, and even then what you'd be doing by sacrificing those additional 8 spaces, you'd be taking away the engine of something like a Horus, the True Kings, the Cash Tirers. They're going to give it a bit more competitive viability. So you're going to go with 2 of the Blaster with 1 of the Burner, 2 of the Redox with 1 of the Richtcan, Pebbles technically, 2 Tempest, and 1 Lightning, and then of course 2 Tidal and 1 Stream. So playing twos and 1s is pretty much all you really need. You get the benefit of everything you want to. Sometimes you might want to consider bumping the actual Dragon Ruler up to 3. So like you might consider playing 3 Blasters, 3 Redox, 3 Tempest, or 3 Tidals. I wouldn't play all of them at 3. You'd kind of cherry pick the ones that you feel are going to be the most effective for you when you're putting it all together. Our main normal summon of the deck, and I still think that this is like the best normal summon for the particular type of deck and what it offers for me personally, is Red Rose Dragon. Now obviously the idea of Red Rose Dragon is when you use it as Synchro material, which with the Dragon Rulers you unlock Synchro level 10s, with the Horus you unlock Synchro level 11s, and if you were to play the True Kings you unlock Synchro levels 12s, which can be quite useful for you depending on what you want to try and play. So you play 3 Red Rose, 1 Rox Rose, and 1 Basil Rose Shoot. I then back this up with the Nemesis engine of triple Flag and 1 Corridor. Now again, on the flip side of this, if you wanted to, you could actually play a small rank 4 engine instead of playing the Red Roses, and what that would then give you the capability for is you could start going into some more rank 4s, so you could very easily go into the Infernal Flame Banshee, which means you could play less of the Nemesis Flag, search out Nemesis Flag, and then it means you can kind of take away the reliance on this. What I like about this is it allows you to recycle all of your Dragon Rulers. It can also help you recycle some of your Horus monsters when you banish them as well. And on top of that, it then starts unlocking the capabilities of either Protoss, coming in from the side deck to completely nuke your opponent's board and lock them out, or it can give you the main deck of getting into a Thunder Dragon Colossus, because the idea is if you hard open up a Corridor or a Nemesis Flag, as you're making your combos, you can build your board up into a range of different synchros, and then of course you can very easily just go, cool, Flag, put back one of your banished monsters, get you a Corridor, Corridor puts back that banished monster, gets you a Corridor to the board. You can link off the Flag, but then you can also just turn Nemesis Corridor into a Thunder Dragon Colossus, and straight away you've got a walking, talking, like Droll and Lockbird that your opponent just can't search, which is insane. For the Horus package, of course, we're playing the 1 Happy, the 1 Blessing, just because of the water attribute. You can play the other one, which is an earth attribute, but honestly, I quite like the idea of playing these ones here. You can play it even less and just play the Happy, but having the water isn't that big of an issue. Followed up by triple Insetti, which is obviously your searcher to get you into your King Sark, and then your King Sark gives you that ability to start discarding cards from your hand to search out the Horus monsters, and that's where the that's where your Dragon Rulers come into play, because if you hard open up a Dragon Ruler, you can use them from hand or grave. So there's no point in burning away your hand resource when you could also use your hand resource for your King Sark's discard abilities. So you do that, and then you start using your Dragon Rulers in the graveyard. So you're getting the benefit of both if everything you want to try and do. So you get the Horus cards that are utilizing the Dragon Rulers as discard fodder, and then you use the Dragon Rulers as the banish fodder for the Horus cards after you've already used them. So for example, you would bring out your 2 Horus monsters, you'd overlay them to go into something like the Zombie Vampire, you'd detach off the Zombie Vampire, mill more cards, summon a card back to the board, link them off, and then of course you're setting up your graveyard with loads of different attributes that your Dragon Rulers can start utilizing to banish. And then into the hand traps, so utilising hand traps, that the attributes also become quite useful for you that you can banish from the graveyard for your Dragon Rulers. So we're going with triple Ash Blossom, triple Droll, double Mourner, double Bell. You can adapt this particular lineup of the hand traps to anything you really want to. Honestly, these are the best wins. The only other Earth you might want to, or there might be some other Earths you might want to consider, but I still think Bell is actually quite a good card in this format right now. It's one of the ones that a lot of people undervalue it. You can play other lights and darks, but you're probably going to be looking at playing those when we get the new Dragon Rulers, which we won't get in the TCG until like April next year. And then the final card is Infinite Impermanence, because it's like the best hand trap for going first or going second. Because you play so many hand traps, you could play Crossout Designator, but honestly, I never felt that Crossout Designator would be utilised in this deck just because you have so much gas. Like, this is what the good thing about the Horus engine does, is even if you get hit with an Artifact Lancia, you're still able to play. Like, it shuts off your Dragon Rulers, but then it still unlocks the ability for the Horus cards. So you're able to kind of set up pretty much all the defense that you need. Moving into the extra deck, we'll start with the Synchros. So for the Synchros, you've got your level 10s in the form of the Arms of the Gen X Return 0. This is like the best Synchro for this entire deck. So this one lets you banish attributes from the graveyard to negate the same attribute that's been activated by your opponent. And you can only banish each attribute once per turn. But the fact of the matter is, throughout the Horus cards, you're going to be getting your Darks. Throughout your Rocks Roses and your Rose Dragons, you're going to get in Darks as well. Then, of course, your Dragon Rulers, you're getting Earths, Winds, Waters, and Fires. The only thing you're not getting direct access to is Lights, and then that's where Effect Vaders come into play, Ghost Ogres come into play, or anything else like that. Maybe even some of your Synchros as well. Cheng-Ying as your aggressor, and then Bestial Dispatter, because obviously your non-tuner dragons is what you want to be looking for, and that's of course where your Dragon Rulers are going to come into play. And then for the XYZs, so we're playing the 1 Dark Armed Dragon of Annihilation, the 1 Darkest Dragon Doom Rider. So obviously these are your rank 7s. This one gives you a double pop while also banishing cards from your graveyard, so that can help you set up your Dragon Ruler banish effects. And then of course you've got the Darkest Doom Rider, which basically just becomes a quick effect pop during your opponent's turn. You don't have to play this. There are other flexible options. You could consider something like a Skull Dread. If you go back down the True King route, your other level 12s that you can consider as well is your Centurion Lagita, and of course your Super Heavy Samurai Brave. Now what I like about this one is because you're going to be burning through your resource in your hand through the Horus engine anyway, this can give you the ability to draw more cards, but then it means you're playing your Horus engine and you're playing the True Kings, which is quite a lot to be playing. For the rank 8s, we've got the Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. Like, if you're really worried about a Nibiru or you're really worried about a monster effect, you go into the Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. You've got your Zombie Vampire to give you those mills. This is probably like the ideal one you want to go into first, unless you've opened up enough cards to get everything going, and then you'll go into the Galaxy Eyes Photon to protect. And then for the final synchro that I've kind of jumped over is the Psychic End Punisher. So this is one that gets unlocked by playing the Horus cards, because Red Rose plus a Horus monster gives you a level 11 synchro. And it's just one of the ones that I think a lot of opponents will forget about even exists. So if you were to go, okay, cool, turn 1, do everything you need to, they maybe break it, they maybe slow you down, they burn out quite a few of your life points. You go, okay, cool, well, King Stark's still on the board, bring back a Horus monster, normal summon Red Rose synchro into Psychic End Punisher, and then Psychic End Punisher can pretty much win games on its own, but you do have that as another option to back everything else up. The 1 Thunder Dragon Colossus, pretty standard on that. And then for the Link package, again, you can try and change this up as much as you want to. So you play the fire line of going Heater, Princess, and Aberwhale. You can swap this out for the Pyro Phoenix if you want to, but then if you want to be doing that, you'll also want to consider playing as Atlantis, which then flexes up some of the other spots in the deck. Pretty standard, IP into SP, and then of course Hieratic Seals of the Heavenly Spheres, so you're pretty much covering all the bases that you need. You have flexibility in the extra deck, you don't have to play it exactly as I've just shown you here, but it does show you a nice little range of playing Links, Synchros, XYZs, and even Fusions, so you're pretty much covering all of the extra deck mechanics, bar something like a Pendulum, and I'm pretty sure if you wanted to play the Ruiz, you could very easily add that into the equation. So now onto the side deck, just to kind of give you an idea of what would be going on. You would adapt this depending on your local environment. But triple Artifact Lancer, this will come down to if you're going to be facing a lot of Malices. If you're not and you're going to be facing a lot of Ryziels, you could consider playing something like a Dimension Shifter, so that can give you a little bit of an edge as well. You would just slide them in and take out your Horus cards. I quite like the idea of playing Lava Golem, because it's one of the ones, if I'm going second, I could actually sacrifice the Red Rose engine, take out the Red Rose engine, which is 5 cards opening up. I then put in 3 Lava Golems, I go second, I Lava Golem my opponent, and then I can get my Dragon Rulers going quite easily, I can get my Horus monsters going quite easily, clear out the Lava Golem, and pretty much OTK. For the penultimate monsters, we play the one Quacky Mirror Drago to come off the back of Spheres, so if you're facing new Bells or Lights and Dark decks specifically, that can really hurt them. And then of course Protoss, because you can slide this in once you know exactly what your opponent's playing. You can main deck if you want to, and another card you could put in the extra deck would be Reaperdonkus, so you can adapt the attribute should you need it to. But like I said, you're pretty much playing everything in the main deck apart from Lights, so you do have a bit more options there. And then for the spells, we are playing Triple Book of Eclipse. The one Harpy's Feather Duster, I just had one more space in the side deck, so I was like, okay, we'll put in Harpy's Feather Duster because you need to have some back row hate. But honestly, I feel that you kind of want to be looking at maybe trying to get a Cosmic Cyclone in here, or another option you could consider is Triple Tactics Thrust. But you could even main that if you wanted to. And then the final card is Triple D Barrier, so obviously dealing with Fusion heavy decks, XYZ heavy decks in the form of the Ryzeals. And again, that's where Triple Tactics Thrust would come in, because it means you could cut down the reliance on this a little bit. You could start looking at playing some of the Virus cards as well. It really is up to you. I'm quite excited about Dragon Rulers and how it's going to adapt once we do get the Lights and Darks in the upcoming set. But until that time drops in April, right now, I would say go and pick up your Dragon Rulers in a higher rarity if you want to. I'm just quite happy I picked them up in Platinum Secrets when they were like £2 a copy, because now they're like £7, £8, £9 a copy. And then Court of Centuries I don't even want to know about. I was just quite happy getting these as Platinum because I didn't mind the Platinum looking option, to be honest. I quite like them as Secret. It kind of played homage to how they were before as well, which is kind of nice. Anyway, that is it for the entire profile. If you do have any questions at all, by all means, please put them in the comments down below. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Have a very good weekend, because this time this video is going out is Friday. We'll be doing a live stream tomorrow, and it's actually going to be quite an interesting one, so hopefully you guys will join us on that as well. For now, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.